Okay, so we walked a little bit, and we are here outside the Bet HaMikdash. We're sitting right outside the walls of the original entrance to the Bet HaMikdash, the Temple Mount. And I'm actually sitting on the original steps that our ancestors would have walked up 3 times a year. Pesach, Sukkot, and Shavuot, all of Am Yisrael would walk up these steps, and they would enter in the Bet HaMikdash right behind me. Yud Zayin Tammuz, the beginnings of destruction, the breaching of the walls. One of the many things that we commemorate on this day is the breaking of the Luchot. Moshe goes up to Har Sinai and receives the word of Hashem, receives the Luchot, written on them the 10 Commandments, and he's in such an ideal spiritual existence, and he comes down to meet the people, and he sees the golden calf, and he lifts them up and he breaks them, and we commemorate that on this day. So what were the Luchot? What was it? I'm not talking about the physical aspect of the Luchot. What does it represent? The Luchot represents the ideal. Literally, the word of Hashem, creator of the world, given to man, saying, here, follow in this path and you will live an ideal existence. What did they have on them? One side of the Luchot had 5 commandments of laws between man and God. Remember Hashem. Don't worship other idols or other gods. Don't take his name in vain, etc. And on the other side, 5 commands that were between man and man. Don't steal from your brother. Don't kill. Don't commit adultery. It's the perfect, ideal blend of godliness and spirituality and connecting to God with myself and connecting to my people, being a human, being kind, being moral. It's idealism. It's the perfect. What's the problem? We're humans. We have pain. We have desires. We have flaws. We're encapsulated in this physical body, and we aren't always ideal just because we're physical. And when he goes down to give the Luchot, we realize that the spiritual perfect existence of God and man and perfection, there's a big distance, there's a natural distance between that and humans, which is why they had to be broken. They had to be broken. It's even in a sense ideal that the first ones were broken. And they still sit in the Holy of Holies behind me, in the Ark, in the holiest place. And if you even look at the Rashi, the last Rashi, the commentary, on the last pasuk in the whole Torah, in Dvarim, Lamed Daled 34, passage 12, in the last words of the Torah, Le'enei kol Yisrael, before the eyes of all of Israel, Rashi says that Moshe came down and he wanted to break the Luchot before all of their eyes. And Hashem agreed with him and said, Shkoyach, yes, break it. Why? And why is this the last thing? Because that is life. When we have our ideals and we have reality, there has to be a distance. But we have to get another pair of Luchot. We have to know that distance. We have to understand that naturally, because we're physical, we will always be distant from the ideal, perfect spiritual, and we work for it. We have to work. We have to just work to try and blend that. And where I'm standing right now, there's something so beautiful because we remember the breaking of the luchot, and during the Second Temple time period, it was so prevalent. The luchot were so broken. Behind me, in the Bet HaMikdash 2,000 years ago, the people knew all of the laws. They said that even the young children knew the specific dikdukim of the laws of purity and impurity and sacrifices, and they were so perfectly well versed in all of the laws. But they forgot the other side of the luchot. They forgot that if somebody doesn't agree with them, you probably shouldn't kill them. They forgot that those laws that are so godly have to permeate through the nation. And they killed each other. And they hated each other because they were different, because they were politically different, because they were religiously different. The luchot were broken. And therefore, nothing could be complete and destruction happened. But where I'm standing, we can also see the ideal of that connection, because behind me, if you take a look at these gates, there are 3 arches in the wall on that side and an arch over here. This was the original entrance into the Bet HaMikdash. And there was an entrance in the right and to the left. And of the hundreds of thousands of people who would come together here, they would go in the right and out the left. And you could say, well, that makes sense. Hundreds of thousands of people needs to have order. Go in the right, go out the left. But there were 3 types of people who didn't go in the right and out the left. They went in the left and out the right. And these 3 people were someone getting married, someone mourning, someone who's lost a parent or a sibling, and someone who's lost an item. And you could say, well, why these 3 people? Are they going opposite? And if you think about it, they're actually going against traffic. And when you go against traffic, you are going to hit it head on, face to face. And people will say, hey, why are you going in the wrong way? And someone would say, I'm getting married today. And they would sing and they would dance and they would engulf that joy and be part of it. And maybe another person would say, I'm mourning. I lost a parent. And they would say, why? And they would bring them condolences and they would soak up some of their pain. Or maybe they would say, I lost something. If you've seen it, and they would take part. Oh, maybe I've seen it inside. Maybe I'll go ask when I'm leaving. And your lost object became my lost object. It was a place where we weren't just coming to sit up on a cloud with God and my own connections to God and to Hashem. It was there for that too. And it wasn't just a place where I sit with myself and think of my spiritual journey and where I'm at and my hardships and my pains and my joys and the things that I need. It was a place where your pain was my pain. And your happiness was my happiness. And your loss is my loss. So this next song that I'm going to sing, you can hear the fireworks in the background. They're echoing in the distance. There might be a wedding going on. The next song I'm going to sing is called Ad She'avo. Ad She'avo means I will come, or when I will come. And this song is written in Hebrew. If you want to know the English translation, you can go on my YouTube channel, Franny Waisman, and listen to it. And in the description, it's translated. But the overall idea of the song is based on a sentence in the Gemara, Ta'anit, that says, Lo avo b'Yerushalayim shel mala, ad she'avo b'Yerushalayim shel mata. I will not be present. Hashem says, I will not be present in the upper worlds of Jerusalem until you bring me into the lower worlds of Jerusalem. And I don't really have to work too hard to connect this to the idea of luchot. The song talks about the connection of like what's happening in the upper worlds of Jerusalem and the spiritual aspect of the world, not just Jerusalem. Jerusalem represents literally the spiritual center of the whole world. So what's happening up there in that spiritual place, that holy, lofty place where there are souls and godliness and ideals. And it also talks about the lower Jerusalem, the Jerusalem of today. The blends and the colors of different people from different backgrounds and different ages and different politics and different ethnicities, and how there's so much godliness in that and there's so much love, and we're ready to blend the 2 sides of the luchot. And so we're standing on Tammuz, and maybe we're supposed to start fixing things. Maybe after 2,000 years of mourning destruction, we're supposed to start rebuilding. By the way, just credit, my husband wrote this, and I composed it. שוק אומר קריאת רוכלים בגן ירוק ילדים צוהלים קודש וחול יחדיו משמשים רחובות צבועים בגווני האנשים